Okay, so here are a few supplemental problems from section 8.3 of the worksheet you have for homework. Um, so first of all, number 2. The directions are find four ordered pairs that satisfy the following equation. And this one's actually super easy, but it throws people off. Because here's what we have. We're supposed to have an x and a y that makes this true. Well, the problem is there's no x in there. Well, the thing we know is that y has to equal -7. So actually how you do this problem is you create four -7s for y, and then it doesn't matter what in the world x is. It could be 0, it could be 11, it could be 42, it could be even, heck, the number pi. It could be literally anything, as long as it's an ordered pair that has a y of -7. So any of those are perfectly fine, again, as long as they make that y equal -7, which those all four do. Okay. Now, number 4 is a little trickier. It's the same exact problem and idea, but it's more complicated. Now, there are two ways you could go about doing this. You could just use the brute force method and kind of think your way through it and say, okay, I'll think of four numbers where x minus y, four pairs of numbers where x minus y equals 6. Or the other way to do this is to do the kind of function way of doing it, which is you solve for the y variable. Okay, so I got to get y by itself. Now the problem is, right now it's x minus y, and a lot of people, their first temptation is just to add y to, or add x to both sides, but x is positive, the y is negative, so I have to subtract x from both sides. Now what happens is that gives me negative y on the left equals, well, I have the issue of 6 minus x, or x minus 6, so it's just 6 minus x. Since I don't know what x is, since I don't know what x is, I can't subtract them yet. And then the very last step is the fact that, this is negative y. I don't want negative y, I want positive y. So what that means I have to do is divide by -1 and divide everything by -1 to switch that sign to positive y. That now gives me -6 positive x. So I took this equation, I rewrote it in a way now that works a lot more easily, and what I'm just going to do is pick four x values. I know 1, 2, 3, 4, it really doesn't matter, and do -6 plus those values. Okay. Well, -6 plus 1 is -5, -6 plus 2 is -4, -6 plus 3 is -3, -6 plus 4 is -2. So my four ordered pairs are 1 -5, 2 -4, 3 -3, 4 -2. Oops, sorry, put off the page. Now, number 12 is the last one I'm going to look at on here. Okay. In number 12, one, I didn't realize I made this so big it doesn't fit on my screen. But two, there are two things we could do here. Okay, in the book for this section, they first had you find the x and y intercepts. Now, in order to find those, you have to know the process, and the process actually is a lot easier than you'd think, because how it works is the x-intercept is on the x-axis. Well, everything on the x-axis is where y equals 0. The y-intercept is anything on the y-axis, and that happens whenever y equals 0. Okay. So to find our x-intercept, set y equal to 0. So we go to this equation here. 0 equals 1/2 x minus 6. That's what I'm going to solve. I set this y equal to 0. Now I'm going to solve for x. The first thing I would do personally, I would double both sides. You get 0 equals 1/2 times 2, which is gone because this is 2 times 0. It just gives you 1x, and then 6 times 2 is 12, and then add 12 to both sides. So 12 equals x. Now, that means I have the ordered pair 12, 0. Unfortunately, that doesn't fit on my graph because I've only got up to here. So that's not going to do me any good. But I would know it, and if it did fit, it'd work out. The other point I could find is when I plug 0 in for x. That's the y-intercept. Sorry, not y equals 0, x equals 0. So y equals 1/2 x minus 6. Well, that's y equals 1/2 times 0 minus 6. Well, 1/2 of 0 is gone. Y is negative 6. So I have the point now 0, negative 6. Now that guy is on my graph, right here. Now you could, sometimes I've had a habit of doing this. I'm like, oh, well, that's 10. I'll just kind of approximate. There's 12. Okay, and I would have that point, so it'd be somewhere like right here. Okay, I do have 2 points. But the next thing the book does is it says, after you find those 2 points, then find some more points on this line, just like we did back. Whoops, turn right side up. Right here, like we did on this problem. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to next plug in some numbers into this equation here for x, and if I do it right, it should pull up and I can graph them on there. Now, one word to the wise: anything I pick for x, I'm going to have to multiply it by a half, which really means divide it by 2. So I'm going to cheat and pick even numbers, because 1/2 of 2 minus 6, well, 1/2 of 2 is really just 1. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. Okay. Then 1/2 of 4 minus 6, well, 1/2 of 4 is 2. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. And then 1/2 of 6 minus 6, well, 1/2 of 6 is 3. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. And now I have these ordered pairs. 2, negative 5, 4, negative 4, 6, negative 3. Okay, so let's plot those out. Over 2, down 5. Well, I'm going to have to just approximate it's right there in the middle somewhere. Over 4, down 4. Over 4, down 4. Over 6, down 3. Over 6, down 3. And now, if I was careful, all these points will line up nicely right down this line. Which they did. Okay, so that's just a little bit of each, a couple of each type of problem, or one of each type of problem for the homework assignment. Again, if you have any questions, come in, before or after school. I'll do the best I can to help you out. Okay, thanks.